Let me ask you something no one around you will ever dare to say out loud. What if the most dangerous thing happening to you right now is that people like you, not respect you, not fear you, not admire you, just like you? Sounds harmless, right? Maybe even flattering. But here's what dark psychology knows, and what the world will never tell you. The moment you start living for approval, you hand over the controls of your life to everyone except yourself, and they will drive it off a cliff, slowly, smiling the whole time. Here's what makes this trap so dangerous. It doesn't feel like a trap. From the outside, wanting to be liked looks like kindness. It looks like social intelligence. It looks like you genuinely care about people. But look closer. When you say yes to something you desperately want to say no to, that's not kindness. That's fear, wearing kindness as a costume. When you stay quiet in a room where you should speak, that's not humility. That's self-erasure dressed up as modesty. When you change your opinion the moment someone pushes back, that's not open-mindedness. That's a spine that simply doesn't exist. The approval seeker doesn't just want to be liked. They need it. They've built their entire emotional world around it. And here's the dark truth about need. Whoever controls what you need controls you. Your boss knows it. Your partner might know it. And the people who study human behavior for a living, they've known it for centuries. Approval seeking isn't just a weakness, it's a leash. To understand the trap, you have to understand why the trap works. It starts in childhood. From the moment you were born, your survival depended on the approval of others. Your parents fed you, protected you, gave you warmth, but only when you behaved in ways they approved of. Cry the wrong way. Disapproval. Smile. Approval. Follow the rules. Approval. Question authority. Disapproval. Your brain learned early. Approval equals safety. Disapproval equals danger. This was wired into you before you could even speak. So now, as an adult, even when there is no real danger, your nervous system still treats social disapproval like a threat to your survival. That's why rejection feels physical. That's why public embarrassment feels like dying. That's why you rehearse arguments in the shower at midnight, because somewhere deep in your neurology, not being liked still reads as, you might not make it. The trap isn't stupid, it's ancient. But ancient wiring built for a world that no longer exists becomes a prison in the modern one. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most people confuse being liked with being respected. They think if enough people approve of them, they've won. But approval and respect are not just different things. They are opposite forces. Approval is given when you make people comfortable. Respect is given when you make people uncomfortable, in exactly the right ways. Approval is cheap. Anyone can earn it. All you have to do is agree, comply, shrink yourself, and tell people what they want to hear. Respect is rare, and it is earned by doing the opposite. The person who tells you a hard truth you didn't want to hear. You might not like them in the moment, but you respect them for years. The person who always agrees with you, always laughs at your jokes, always makes everything easy. You like them. But do you really respect them? Or do you just enjoy how they make you feel? Here's the cold reality. People who are liked are invited to parties. People who are respected are given power. People who are liked are easy to replace. People who are respected are impossible to replicate. People who are liked are forgotten when they leave the room. People who are respected are talked about when they're not in it. Ask yourself honestly, which one have you been chasing? Let's go deeper. Because this isn't just philosophy. This is mechanics. Approval functions in the brain exactly like a drug. When someone validates you, a like on your post, a compliment from a colleague, A nod of agreement from someone you admire. Your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical triggered by cocaine, by gambling, by sugar. And just like any addiction, tolerance builds. What used to be enough stops being enough. The compliment that felt incredible 6 months ago barely registers today. You need more. You need bigger. You need it more frequently. This is why approval seekers spiral. They don't just want to be liked. They want to be liked by more people. Then by better people. Then liked more deeply. Then liked unconditionally. And they will bend themselves into unrecognizable shapes, chasing something that can never be fully achieved. Because no amount of external validation can fill an internal void. Dark psychologists call this an external locus of control. The belief that your worth is determined entirely by what others think of you. It's the most efficient trap ever designed because it requires no captor. You maintain it yourself. You police yourself. You punish yourself. You shrink yourself. All to keep feeding a system that was never built to satisfy you. Now let's talk about what happens when someone else knows this about you. And you don't. Manipulators don't attack their targets. They don't need to. They find the approval seeker, and they simply become the source of approval. They compliment you just enough to keep you hungry. They validate you right when you're about to pull away. They create a rhythm of hot and cold, warmth followed by sudden withdrawal, that keeps you constantly off balance, constantly trying to earn back that feeling of being liked by them. This is called intermittent reinforcement, and it is the single most powerful psychological conditioning tool in existence, the same mechanism used in slot machines, in abusive relationships, in cult recruitment. The approval seeker doesn't just fall for this. They are perfectly built for it. Because the person who needs to be liked will work harder and harder for each shrinking unit of approval. They will overlook red flags. They will rationalize bad behavior. They will excuse manipulation and call it complicated love. And the manipulator doesn't even have to try that hard. They just have to understand one thing. You need to be liked more than you need to be safe. Read that again. You need to be liked more than you need to be safe. That is the trap in its final, most dangerous form. So what's the solution? It's not to become cold. It's not to stop caring about people. It's to stop needing their approval to feel okay about yourself. There's a concept in dark psychology called strategic indifference, and it changes everything. Strategic indifference is not apathy. It is not arrogance. It is the conscious decision to let your self-worth live inside you, not in the hands of anyone else. When you no longer need people to approve of you, you become unpredictable to them. And unpredictability is power. When you can walk away from validation without flinching, every negotiation shifts in your favor. Every time. When you can say no without guilt, disagree without anxiety, and disappoint without collapse, you become someone people actually take seriously. Here's the paradox. The moment you stop chasing approval, you become more magnetic. Because most people are desperate for it. And desperate is the opposite of attractive. Desperate repels. Detachment draws in. The person in the room who least needs everyone's validation is usually the one everyone gravitates toward. It's counterintuitive. It's maddening. And it is absolutely true. So how do you actually break free? Start noticing when you edit yourself in real time, when you're about to say something honest, and you stop. Notice that moment. That pause is the trap activating. You don't have to say everything you think, but you need to know when you're silencing yourself out of fear versus wisdom. Practice small acts of voluntary disapproval. Disagree with someone in a low-stakes situation and survive it. Say no to something you'd normally say yes to, just to keep the peace. Each time you do this and survive, and you will survive, your nervous system gets recalibrated. It learns. Disapproval is not death. Reframe what you're optimizing for. Stop asking, will this make them like me? Start asking, will this make them take me seriously? Those two questions lead to completely different decisions, and they build completely different lives. Finally, make peace with being misunderstood. Every person who has ever done something genuinely significant was misunderstood by most people while doing it. Misunderstanding is not failure. It is often a signal that you're operating on a frequency most people haven't tuned into yet. Let them misunderstand you. Do the work anyway. Let me leave you with this. The most powerful people in any room are rarely the most liked. They are the ones who have stopped needing to be. They've made a decision, quiet, private, and absolute, that their worth is not up for vote, that their choices don't require consensus, that their direction doesn't require applause. And that single decision changes everything. Because when you stop asking for permission to be who you are, you stop being manageable. You stop being moldable. You stop being a tool in someone else's game. You become someone who plays their own. The world will tell you to be likable, to be agreeable, to be easy and warm and palatable. Dark psychology says something different. Be real. Be grounded. Be the version of yourself that exists whether people approve of it or not. Because that version, the unedited, unmanaged, approval-independent version, is the only one that was ever actually yours.